of all shapes and sizes. The values have gone up. The financing, the way it's set up right now, is not strategically set up to capture this 25, that big 2025 to 2035 wave. I think we've talked about needing to raise the ceiling of the SBA limit. The problem is at 5 million, some of these businesses, and a lot of these are owned by boomers, are between $5 and $50 million in revenue. They're going to well surpass that ceiling for the SBA. So how are buyers, even capable buyers of capital, going to be able to acquire them? It's going to drive a lot of the silver tsunami sellers into very small buyer pools of private equity, strategic, or those who have capital, ability to raise capital. Now, yes, you see a lot of family offices, a lot of other groups trying to get in this mix, but let's be honest, Chris, it's not that easy. And unless the SBA raises, especially when you're talking about manufacturing, right? Trump's trying to bring manufacturing back into the country. I don't know if the buyer market is positioned to even acquire these deals. If not, if they're sold at a discount, how much is that going to hurt the wave? The first ones to get in and sell for the best price are going to be lucky, but the back end, if people can't start to afford to buy these businesses and discounts begin to reflect in the prices, we're going to see values almost, I hate to say it, get lowered and hurt the market overall in value.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing that already. I just got off the phone with a seller literally before we jumped on the podcast, right? And doing about $15 million in revenue, profitability is close to $2 million. So let's just throw a 4x. I haven't done the
Yeah,
research yet.
just a quick,
Quick
estimate.
analysis, throwing round numbers and using the super easy formula.
That's right.
I don't recommend it, but that's my disclaimer. But we're at $8 million. Nobody can afford to buy this unless the seller's going to take a $3 million seller note, earn out, something like that. And that is part of it. I get
Or
that
partial
deal structure.
buyout.
But should the seller really have to do that just because SBA and government guidelines won't increase this $5 million cap to 10 million to meet, we've got inflation. We need to grow that. In certain states, hourly wages have gone way up, not in Louisiana, but,
Look at California.
yeah. What is minimum wage in California? 20,
Like
20
25,
bucks?
something like that. It's
Yeah.
it's incredibly different from different state to state now.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be a real risk factor, is that you go to market, and if you want above 5 million, or if your business is worth above 5 million, your buyer pool is so shrunk unless you're willing to be very creative in deal structuring, which, I always recommend the clients, don't give up a huge amount of seller financing. 5-10% is okay. You get above 25-50% seller financing, you may never see that money. You and I both know that. And so, but if that's what it has to happen to make the deal possible, there's going to be some mindset shift, right?
You're right. And you're talking personal guarantees of that level. That's
Mm,
and
yeah.
being in the second position to a bank, if there's financing on top of that, that's brutal. One thing my dad always talked about that, I never forgot, he mentioned there's $1 trillion opportunity. It's also the $1 trillion disaster. And by that he means is capital is going to be pulled out of the market. When these businesses sell, close, or don't get transferred, that wealth is going to leave individuals spending it and creating in the economy and put into savings. Let's say young, children of the owners are going to absorb all that wealth and get transferred to them. Most of them are going to be older up in age and retire. They're not going to spend that money. They're going to put it in their pocket. Yes, there will be some spending on maybe nicer houses or a secondary home or a car, maybe pay off some debt. But all that capital base is going to be sucked right out the market, right? And my dad always wondered, how's that going to affect the economy too? Because if people pull all their money out and gets hoarded by smaller and smaller, yes, it's going to be trickled down to more children, but it's going to pull that money out the market into a smaller finite group of people. How's that going to affect the long-term, growth of the economy? Is it going to be tucked away